If you don't like it, then leave, she said during a fight about her girls' trips. So I did. I cut her off, paid only my share, and watched her credit crumble without me. We'd been engaged 6 months when things really started to fall apart, but the cracks had been forming for much longer. I'm 31, work in IT consulting, long days, client deadlines, constant pressure. Lindsay, my fiancée, 29, works for a boutique marketing agency. She always described it as low stress, low effort. She wasn't lying. Her work schedule was a rotating mix of brunch meetings and brainstorming walks. She had time, freedom, and, at least early on, a calming energy I actually admired. We met at a friend's wedding 4 years ago. I was drawn to her instantly. She was vibrant, curious, magnetic in that I'm building my own vision board kind of way. Back then, I didn't see her disinterest in marriage planning as a red flag. I figured she just wanted to take things slow. Now, I realized she was never really interested in building a life together, at least, not in the way I understood it. From the beginning, Lindsay was clear about one thing. She didn't do financial stress. Her words, not mine. So I took on the rent, groceries, bills, car insurance, anything essential. She contributed occasionally, usually in ways she framed as spontaneous joy investments, like ordering sushi for dinner or buying a new fiddle leaf fig because it improved the emotional balance of the apartment. I didn't mind at first. I was making decent money, and I genuinely liked doing things for her. But somewhere along the way, the balance shifted. What started as me being generous turned into her expectation. Her wellness weekends started popping up more frequently, spa resorts with her influencer friends, some costing nearly $1,000. Then came the 3-week digital detox retreat in Sedona. I asked how she was affording it. She shrugged. Credit card points and good vibes. I tried to bring up planning for our future, wedding, home, maybe kids someday. She sipped her matcha and said, I'm not really the planning type. That's your strength, babe. She said it like it was a compliment, like I should be proud to be the responsible one. Then one night she came home with a $1,200 espresso machine. I blinked at it for a few seconds before asking if she was serious. She smiled. It's aesthetic. It fits the kitchen vibe. You don't even drink coffee. But guests do. It's about the experience. I paid for that kitchen. Every appliance. She talked about it like it was a canvas for her Pinterest board. The moment things snapped for me came quietly. I was paying the monthly balance on our shared credit card when I noticed a $400 charge labeled Manifestation Alignment Coaching. I confronted her. Lindsay, this card is for emergencies. She looked at me completely deadpan. This is an emergency. I haven't felt aligned in weeks. I think that was the moment I stopped seeing us as a team. We were playing 2 different games. I was trying to build a stable life, and she was trying to live inside an Instagram reel. I didn't explode. I didn't yell. I just sat there, realizing that I was slowly funding someone else's fantasy life while putting mine on hold. That's when I knew something had to change. After the manifestation coach conversation, I gave myself a week to cool off. Not because I was trying to be the bigger person, but because I needed clarity. I started going through our bank statements, trying to understand just how much I was covering. It wasn't just the big stuff anymore. It was everything. Laundry detergent, dog food. For a dog she insisted on rescuing, then barely walked. Uber rides to her sound bath circles. So one evening, after dinner, I brought it up. Calmly. We need a budget, I said. I'm not asking for 50-50, but I need consistency. Some kind of contribution. We're supposed to be building something together. She didn't even look up from her phone. If you wanted a roommate to split bills, you should have gotten one. I'm your fiancé, not your accountant. That hit me in a way I didn't expect. Not because it was cruel, but because it was honest, too honest. I realized she didn't see herself as my partner in the way I needed her to be. She saw me as the provider and herself as, I don't even know, a lifestyle curator? I said, I don't want a roommate. I want a partner. Someone who contributes, not just with mood boards and yoga playlists, but in real life. Someone who helps carry the load. She rolled her eyes and stormed out. Didn't say where she was going. Just grabbed her keys and slammed the door. I waited, hoping maybe she'd come back with an apology or a plan. She did return, 2 days later, with a solution. I've decided to pick up a second gig, she announced with a proud smile. Dog yoga. I honestly thought she was joking. I let out a short laugh before realizing she was serious. She went on about how it was a rising wellness niche and how she'd already ordered custom mats. It wasn't just out of touch, it was surreal. So I made a decision. No more enabling. That month, I only paid my half of the rent. I took my name off the shared credit card, bought my own groceries, let her figure out hers. She didn't notice for the first week. She was out of town at another healing weekend. But by week 3, reality landed. She stood in the kitchen holding an unpaid utility bill. Are you seriously doing this? I nodded. I am. Do you expect me to live like this? I expect you to live like an adult. She didn't say anything, just stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. The next morning, she packed a duffel bag and said she needed to reset her aura at her sister's place. She kissed the dog on the head, didn't look back at me, and left. And that was it for a while. At first, I felt conflicted, lonely even. I kept wondering if I'd made the right call. But then, the quiet started to feel good. I had space. I could think. I wasn't constantly stressed about money or whether I'd come home to another random investment, like a Himalayan salt lamp chandelier. I didn't know where she was exactly or what she was doing, but I had a feeling this aura reset wasn't happening at her sister's. Turned out, I was right. It wasn't her sister's place. A mutual friend tipped me off a couple of weeks later. Lindsay had moved in with some guy she met at her plant medicine circle. Apparently, he builds surfboards using sacred geometry and believes Wi-Fi disrupts chakra alignment. His name was River. Of course it was. At first, I didn't even feel angry. Just validated. I wasn't imagining the disconnect. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a lifestyle without responsibility. And when I stopped funding that lifestyle, she found someone who seemed to offer the same vibe, minus the expectations. So I focused on me. I stayed in the apartment. Started cooking real meals again. Nothing fancy, just stuff that didn't come from a takeout box. I reconnected with a couple of old college buddies I'd lost touch with. I even started dating again, casually at first. The first woman I saw worked in education. She laughed at my jokes and thought $300 yoga mats were ridiculous. It was easy. A breath of fresh air. About 2 months after Lindsay left, she showed up. No text. Just knocked on the door one Thursday night wearing a hoodie that wasn't hers and holding a small suitcase. Her hair looked like she hadn't washed it in days. Hey, she said softly. Can we talk? I let her in. She didn't even sit down right away, just paced a little like she was nervous. Finally, she said, I made a mistake. I didn't say anything. She kept going. Told me River didn't believe in deodorant, had 5 ferrets, and insisted they sleep with an open window, even during a rainstorm, so their souls could breathe. She said she missed our routines, our apartment, our life. I looked at her, and for a second, I saw the girl I met 4 years ago, but only for a second. You don't miss me, I said. You miss my credit score. That hit her harder than anything I'd ever said. She didn't argue, just looked down and nodded slowly. She left quietly that night. A few days later, she blocked me on Instagram, then unblocked me, then tagged me in a story about toxic masculinity and capitalism, quoting some pseudo-therapist about how men weaponize financial responsibility to suppress feminine expression. I didn't respond. The thing is, I don't hate her. I don't even wish her badly. But I finally see her clearly. Some people say they want to be taken care of, but what they really mean is they want to avoid adulthood while someone else handles the hard stuff. I stopped being that someone, and I've slept better ever since. Not because I won the breakup, but because I finally stopped pretending we were building the same future. If you've ever been in a relationship where you gave and gave, hoping the other person would eventually meet you halfway, what finally made you stop? I'd genuinely like to know.